Democracy in America GOP deepens racial tension after expelling black lawmakers from Parliament on Thursday. Listen to this 12-minute comment on this article. Share the gift. Tennessee House Republicans said it was just a matter of decency, a need to act appropriately in the historic room of the State House Congress. Republicans said 2 newly elected black lawmakers had broken sanctity of Parliament, with young lawmakers shouting at megaphones, singing hymns along with gun control advocates during protests that filled gallery following a last month that left 6 people at Christian school. A white female lawmaker joined them, and trio, Justin Jones, 27, Justin Pearson, 29, Gloria Johnson, 60, soon became known as Tennessee Triad. Now the Republican majority, largely white and male, would vote Thursday to deport lawmakers and override the will thousands of voters in an unprecedented act, retaliation to silence their opponents. Their actions risked further wounding a state with a legacy of brutal wars over race and power. They were ready to make history in a building that was already sunk in. The 1859 state capitol was built by enslaved people, and in 1866 the Assembly expelled members who tried to block citizenship for previously enslaved people. And Jones himself has waged a long campaign to remove bust of a former great wizard of the Ku Klux Klan from building, which was destroyed in 2021. Jones, Vanderbilt University theology student, said, "What you really show world is hold a mirror to situation that goes back some dark roots." A state where Ku Klux Klan was founded is now attempting another power grab by silencing 2 youngest black representatives and one of only female Democratic women in this structure. Let's be realistic today. Try to come to an agreement with aging lawmakers, the majority of whom are white, scolding young black lawmakers during trials lasting more than 6 hours. They said, "You know truth about other people. Do not raise yourself above the victims of tragedy whose bodies have not yet landed on ground," said one. The gallery above their heads was filled with protesters, and voices of others singing outside the doors echoed in room, "Shame. Don't do that," Democrats have called. The Republicans said they were in a hurry. There was no investigation. "We have raised this to the highest alert level for a simple rule violation. This is not democracy," said Memphis State Representative Karen D. Camper, 65. "I beg you not to do that today. History will reflect this. And I hope you decide to be on the right side of history at this moment." Armed attack and protest 10 days before Tennessee 3 stopped floor operations. Former student opened fire at the private Christian Covenant school 17 miles away, killing 6 people. 9-year-old Evelyn Dieckhaus, stuffed tiger collector. 9-year-old Hallie Scruggs, the priest's daughter. William Kinney, 9, baseball player. Katherine Koonce, 60, headmaster. Mike Hill, 61, the guard, known as Big Mike. And 61-year-old Cynthia Peak, substitute teacher. The mass followed several people. Nashville, 1 and 6 wounded. The Burnette Chapel Christ Church 2017, for a Waffle House 2018, and renewed calls for gun control reform. This time, Tennessee Governor Bill Lee had a personal connection to the tragedy. He was longtime friends with his wife Maria, Koonce, and Peak. Peak was supposed to have dinner with the couple that evening. Lee had long made wider access guns his own agenda, and in this session Republican lawmakers were considering ways to extend the 2021 law that allowed gun owners carry handguns without permission, including lowering his age 18 or allowing all weapons be transported without permission. Not just guns. Now these debates have been pending, and Democrats and gun control advocates have forced the governor's support sign of danger law that allows temporary removal of firearms from a person believed to be danger others or themselves. They were dreaming of a breakthrough, but it wasn't. Lee would eventually unveil a school security plan for armed security guards, which included $140 million and fell far short of activists' hopes. On March 30th, hundreds of angry protesters flooded the Congress building, filling the corridors and chanting, "Do your job," passing their members. On home floor, Tennessee Triad drove in a megaphone to front of room. "Without action, there is no peace," he shouted. Pearson waved a sign that read, "Protect children, not weapons," and said, "Enough." They both won on the podium. Johnson stood beside him with a silent show of support. Within a few hours, parliamentary leadership initiated process of dismissing them, revoking their access to parking lot and legislature, and removing 2 of 3 from committee posts. House Speaker Cameron Sexton interviewed Knoxville radio station and described the short protest, which no one was harmed, as an uprising on January 6, 2021, equivalent to or worse than that in the U.S. House of Congress. 113 of the Tennessee Triad. The vote to expel from General Assembly was set for April 6, when the Assembly expelled members for only 4th time in its history. Addition to the 6 members expelled 1866, 1 MP was dismissed from bribery 1980 and another 2016 on allegations of sexual abuse. Republicans killed a Johnson-led effort in 2019 to deport State Representative David Byrd, who was accused by 3 women on the basketball team who said he sexually abused them when they were young. At time, Sexton told a local news station, "You have to balance will of voters and turn will of voters upside down." The weather on Capitol Hill in Nashville was tense on Thursday, with several hundred people opposing deportations. In the rain, they stood at the main gate, singing and whistling. Inside, young people gathered in domed area to shout slogans, "You ban books, you ban drifting, children are still in bag of corpses." Jones, who wore a white suit that reflected the right to vote struggles decades ago, was the first person to face deportation. Even before he was elected last year, he was recognized by many lawmakers as a community organizer and student activist. Jones, an aide to late civil rights icon Georgia Representative John Lewis, says he has been arrested dozens of times over the years for nonviolent protests, including a sit-in in House of Congress after George Floyd's 2020. A months-long campaign to remove bust Confederate General Nathan Bedford Forrest, one of the first leaders Ku Klux Klan. During this debate, he was temporarily barred from entering the congressional building for throwing a cup of coffee at then-Speaker Glenn Cassada, who resigned in May 2019 after text messages appeared indicating that he had encouraged or endorsed the chief of staff. He makes sexist statements. Now Jones was dressed by his Republican elders. On April 6, Tennessee House Representative Justin Jones from Nashville said representatives guilty of child abuse and domestic violence had not been fired. Representative Sabi Doc Kumar, an Indian-American surgeon from Springfield, 75, stated, "You must attend the assembly and be one of us," demonstrating a transition from one person to a representative.